What is up, and welcome back to 24 Minutes of A24, the podcast that takes a look at the A24 library 24 minutes at a time. I am Ethan Simi.
And I'm Ben Lawhorn. This week on the pod, we're talking TIFF, all the big A24 news and reactions out of the festival and what it could mean for A24's Oscar chances.
So I pretty much lied. We're not really talking about the A24 library today. We're talking, well, I guess kind of the future of the A24 library.
Yeah, the non-existent library. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, the library that is to come. For those that have seen The Brutalist, I'm trying to tie it to The Brutalist. You'll understand if you've seen the movie. But yeah, we're talking about TIFF. I just got back from TIFF a few days ago. I was there for 8 days. I saw 25 movies. 6 of those that I saw are distributed by A24 in the US at least. So we're going to talk about that. We have one piece of casting housekeeping to talk about. This is not going to be a regular episode. We've got no True Cinema, no A1X. We're just doing things a little bit different.
Yeah, we're just talking TIFF, which is also my boss's name. So if she's listening, hi TIFF. Hello.
No way. Wait, is it short for Tiffany or is it actually TIFF?
No, it's short for Tiffany, but every email I think I've ever sent her is hey TIFF, every single time. So yeah, it's just TIFF.
We have to get her on the ground at TIFF next year. And I mean, we've got a viral series on our hands.
TIFF at TIFF.
TIFF at TIFF. What are we doing?
Like Sophie on the Streets, you know?
It's Sophie on the Streets.
We love alliteration here.
Yes, we do. Of course we do. Okay, one piece of housekeeping news is that Tyler, the Creator, has been cast alongside Timothée Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow in Josh Safdie's ping pong player biopic. That's a sentence that is very odd to me to speak out loud.
Yeah, that feels like those what are those things where you fill in the word? I can't think.
Oh, like a Mad Lib.
Like a Mad Lib. Yeah, it sounds like a Mad Lib almost. Gwyneth Paltrow and Tyler, the Creator, our
music superstar, Hollywood superstar, female actress. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. One brother director. I guess Josh Safdie. Let's put him in there. Yeah. I'm very curious to see what this is like. I just know him as a musician. I don't think I've ever seen him act in anything. But I think for the most part, we've seen some good musicians that have gone over to acting. So I don't know. I got faith in it. I'm just kind of curious to see what the role is and what it's like.
Yeah, I've got faith. I would be a little suspect as of now and say that this is probably more along the lines of a quote unquote cameo than an actual supporting part. I don't know if he would play a big role in a movie like this, but I gotta say, it's to me, and no shade to Timmy, but it's not looking like a stellar cast in my opinion. And you might disagree. I Gwyneth Paltrow, Tyler the Creator, doing a ping pong biopic. I don't know. It sounds really up in the air to me.
It's funny you say that because that's a Gwyneth Paltrow movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but there's a movie.
No, but
it's A View from the Top. It's A View from the Top. That's right.
Yes,
that movie
where she's a stewardess. Is
the
this
stewardess,
correct?
yeah.
I actually talked to someone at TIFF about this very movie. Incredible, incredible happenstance. Yes.
One of my favorite lines ever is in that from Mike Myers. I think that movie, the movie's not great, but there's some funny stuff in there. I wonder if this is going to be his Kid Cudi and Trap cameo. You know what I mean? Where it's just we get
I'll take it if that's
a couple minutes and then he's out of there. It's okay, Cudi made an impact in that movie, just not those little lines he had. So who knows? Maybe that'll be Tyler the Creator's version.
Do you know the deal with Kid Cudi and Trap? You know that he improvised all of those lines?
Even the kombucha drink thing?
100%.
Wow.
All off the top, all Scott Muscati just kicking it. And the little wink that he gives to Josh Hartnett, I guess unscripted as well. And M. Night was just keep it in. I love it. Yeah,
why wouldn't you? That's awesome. I love it.
If Tyler the Creator is any semblance of that energy, then I'm very happy. I think it's interesting. I am going to reserve my excitement for this film until we have more details firmed up. I got to be honest. I just don't have a lot of faith. Josh Safdie, didn't Josh just direct the Adam Sandler, the latest Adam Sandler stand-up on Netflix?
Oh, did he? I was just about to look it up. I don't know.
I believe he did, and I actually watched that on the way back from TIFF in the airport.
Okay.
Thought it was pretty good up until like the last 10 minutes, and then I was like, wow, this is very masterful filmmaking. So I was crying in the airport on the way home from TIFF watching
Nice.
Adam Sandler sing about comedy. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of puzzle pieces, and hopefully they fit together and make a whole picture on this one.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, to me, and there might be other people like this too, but ever since Gwyneth Paltrow claimed that she wasn't in a Spider-Man movie,
100%. This is where I'm at.
Does this woman know what she's doing? And maybe she doesn't have to. She just shows up and says her lines. It's just like, it took so much of the magic out. It's like, oh man, she was in there from the beginning, from Iron Man. It's like, she does not give a shit. She does not know where she is at all. So who knows what she knows about this upcoming movie.
That's the thing. That's the thing with Gwyneth Paltrow. I think she's like I think she's pretty good pre-MCU. Like she's in a lot of stuff, obviously, but most notably for me, like Two Lovers. She's excellent in Two Lovers. And then she does this where she's like, I don't remember ever making those movies, and I'm gonna actually like double down on it and just say that I never did them.
Yeah.
And then that's why I'm like, okay, Timothée Chalamet, all right, Tyler the Creator, okay, interesting. Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow, this is no good. That's like literally what my mind did when I read this, because I didn't know Gwyneth was in this either, and I was like, oh no, this is bad. But I don't know, maybe Josh sees something in her where he wants to redeem her. I have no idea, but we'll see. No idea in hell like when this movie is even going to start shooting, let alone going to be released. Probably a 2025 thing. But yeah, interesting point of casting there. Okay, let's talk TIFF. Let's talk about it and talk about specifically the A24 of TIFF.
Yeah.
So TIFF, huge festival, basically one of the big three, right? You get Cannes, you get Venice, and then you get TIFF, and those are like kind of the trifecta of fall movie festivals that are huge Academy Awards precursors. A lot of world premieres take place at TIFF, and a few of those were A24 movies. So A24 went into TIFF with 5 films. They came out with 7.
Okay.
Something we'll definitely talk about on the pod today. So here are the 5 films that they went into TIFF with. Baby Girl, We Live in Time, On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, Queer, and Heretic. Those were the 5 movies that they went into the festival with. They acquired one in the middle of TIFF, like literally 3 or 4 days after the festival started. It got announced that they acquired The Brutalist. We'll dig into that. I think that's like one of the most interesting things to me out of the festival. And then they acquired one movie post TIFF. A couple of days after the festival had ended, it got announced that they had acquired the U.S. rights to Friendship, the Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd comedy movie. Out of these 7, how familiar are you with some of these movies / like, are you excited for any of them? Because most of them don't come out until the end of the year / question mark. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I think the one I know the least about is On Becoming a Guinea Fowl. I think the only thing I know about that is the image of her in the Missy Elliott costume, basically. I think that's literally the only thing I know about that movie. So
yeah,
I'm excited though for all this. You know, I've talked about Heretic and being raised Mormon, so that aspect of it's really interesting to me. We Live in Time. I think I'm just gonna cry like nonstop. You know what I mean? Like that looks rough. Friendship. I love Tim Robinson. I love Paul Rudd. So that just seems like it's made. I don't know. I'm excited about all of these. I also don't know anything really about The Brutalist other than everyone seems to love it. So I'm excited about that, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I was in a similar boat, like going into TIFF, especially with On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, which we can just kind of like kick off our buy movie conversation here. That I still don't know a lot about this movie because I had to skip the screening. So I had it on my list. Obviously, we had talked like pre-TIFF of I'm going to try and see all these A24 movies. I had to skip this one because I did get approved for a red carpet in which I got to interview John Turturro of The Big Lebowski and several other films, but of course The Big Lebowski. I also interviewed a composer who worked on Michael Clayton.
Yeah, you did.
And I sent you a little video about him talking about Michael Clayton, which in my opinion, worth skipping On Becoming a Guinea Fowl for, because that movie's just coming out this year anyway.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I love that.
So I guess this is the tagline for On Becoming a Guinea Fowl. On an empty road in the middle of the night, Shula stumbles across the body of her uncle. As funeral proceedings begin around them, she and her cousins bring to light the buried secrets of their middle-class Zambian family. So I know some people that went to the screening at TIFF for this movie. Reception is like mixed negative, I would say, on this film. I heard it's like tonally a little bit difficult to get on board with. It's got a pretty slow pace to it, and it is a little on like the weirder side. So I think it checks out on A24. I don't know anything other than what we've discussed here on the show, and the movie comes out December 13th in a limited run. Now, the A24 Press website will note if it comes out in a limited run, a nationwide run, or what the case is. If it starts limited and then goes nationwide, it also notes that. For this film, it only notes that it's going to have a limited theatrical run on December 13th. So I don't know if that's new information post-TIFF of like, oh, maybe not worth a national release. But just of note, like Salt Lake might not get this film. Portland might not get this film. I have no idea.
It makes me think of, something like Medusa Deluxe, which I think was kind of in the same boat, where it's just like limited and then just like immediately on VOD. Because that's how we covered it, right? Like it was like off of VOD. So I wonder if this will be similar.
In theaters, like literally, less than a week beforehand. And then it was like, oh, hey, it's on VOD. And we're like, what the fuck is going on with A24?
It's just done. So it made me wondering if that's what they're going to do here.
Yeah, I wonder. Interesting. I don't want to read too much into that, but I will say interesting process from A24 when they're a little bit more experimental films with women of color as the leads. I'm not sure that level of thought has been put into that. So it's a little bit unnerving. Okay, let's talk about Baby Girl. Let's talk about this movie. So this is a movie that out of Venice was being like quite widely hailed. I believe it got like a 7 or 12 minute standing ovation, like, which kind of means nothing nowadays in Venice terms. Where are you at on standing ovations as like a terms of awards?
I don't know. When it got reported how long like the Beetlejuice one was, I was like, these just don't mean anything anymore. Like it's great. It's nice these people are getting some recognition, but like on the other side of this, like I don't know. I don't get it. It's like, so it was 5 minutes. Is that bad? Like a 5 minute standing ovation seems fucking like an eternity, Yeah. But I know some of these movies are getting whatever 12-minute ones. Just like, I don't know. It's a lot.
A 5 minute standing ovation at Venice is essentially like a 1-star film.
Yeah.
From what I understand. It's like, hey, good effort. You're at Venice. That's cool. That's my understanding of that. Especially a film like Beetlejuice, which I haven't seen yet. I'm not sure. Have you seen it?
No, I've not gotten around to it yet.
You're pro Beetlejuice though.
Yeah, I'm very pro Michael Keaton. I've actually been watching some of his movies lately.
Oh, you don't say. Where are you on a Spotlight? Pretty good flick.
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Unsure what you're referencing.
I don't know what that movie is.
So Baby Girl, Nicole Kidman, basically, so she won the Volpe Cup at Venice, which is essentially the award for Best Actress of the festival. This movie comes out on December 25th in a nationwide release. I have several bullet points that I want to talk about this movie, but I obviously think it's important for ourselves and for listeners to just kind of talk about the what the film is about for like a quick second.
Yeah.
So basically, Nicole Kidman plays this really high-powered CEO, and she essentially falls for this very young intern in Harris Dickinson. And he interns at her company, and they begin a rampant sexual love affair that is I would probably equate it to like TNT exploding every time they lock eyes. It's remarkable, quite honestly. And then of course this naturally pulls apart Nicole Kidman's business prospects, her family, her relationship with her husband, these types of things. This is the next movie from Helena Rain, who made Bodies, 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 which we like very much here on this show.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to comment on it because it seems like such a jump in source material, or just a material, I guess, in general. It's like this is quite a change. So I'm excited about this.
It really is. It is a huge change. I will say the interesting thing that I noted in Baby Girl is that Sophie Wilde is cast in this film, who she plays the lead in Talk to Me, which I thought was interesting.
Is this her first thing since then? Sorry, but
yeah, no, I don't know. That's a great question. No, it looks like she did a couple TV series.
Oh, okay.
And then she did do one movie called The Portable Door, which looks atrocious based on the poster. But,
yeah, that was definitely filmed before Talk to Me, and they're just like, oh, good, we should put this out now.
Put that out. That is fascinating. They were probably just like waiting for her to get the break.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is probably her next best thing that she's done since Talk to Me. I actually think she's pretty good in this movie. It is hypersexual, I think, is a very tame way to put it. So I'll give you a little anecdote. I saw Baby Girl, went to one of the screenings, and I actually didn't enjoy it very much, and I'm really disappointed to say that. And we can break that down, but like erotic thrillers are my thing, and this movie just like kind of didn't work for me. And I want to give it the benefit of the doubt because I had a really strange person next to me that every time Nicole Kidman was, how should we say this? Being a powerful woman in regards to her sexuality, I think is a fair way to put it, would laugh and squirm. And I was like, oh, this isn't supposed to be funny. I can tell you're uncomfortable. Maybe this movie isn't for you. And unfortunately, it did hinder my viewing experience a little bit, which that was a bummer because I was trying to get locked in. I was just trying to be there. So all this to say, watched the movie, didn't enjoy it very much. Next morning, I went to a screening, and I heard this woman behind me, had to be 80 years old or older, honestly. And she was talking to a friend about Baby Girl, and she was like, it was terrible. It was so sexually explicit and it was unwarranted. And I just don't know how they would film any of that and why they would do that. And I was like, Baby Girl, I think I like it. I think it's a pretty good movie now. So that's where I'm at. It was interesting. How is A24 going to market this? I have no idea. That's the problem.
How do you? Yeah, it's a great question, especially if like, as a Christmas release, which, I feel traditionally it's like, let's get the family to the theater kind of thing.
Right.
And this is going to be, let's let Nicole Kidman like just be sexually dominant over Harris Dickinson. And let's
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past, let's just say a lot of the divorced dads to be out there just reveling in the majesty of Nicole Kidman. Honestly.
Okay. Right.
That seems like the kind of energy. I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying this, but if you want to go into Baby Girl like blind, maybe don't listen for like 30 seconds. The film opens up with her and her husband, Antonio Banderas, having sex, and then she swiftly proceeds to go to another room in her very lavish New York City apartment and get herself off by watching pornography. So that's the tone setter for the film. If that sounds like your bag, then this movie's for you. If that, even me saying that, puts you off a little bit, I highly recommend you do not see this movie.
It sounds like Antonio needs to step up his game. I mean,
this is interesting because it is a long running, I wouldn't say bit, but definitely a thematic element of the film. And we cycle back to that. And I do think it's really smart casting on Helena Rain's part because me as a very straight male, if I'm married to Antonio Banderas, he's probably getting the job done. Let's just be honest.
He's a handsome dude. Yeah.
Handsome guy. if I'm married to Nicole Kidman, same thing, right? Like the fact that he can't do it for her is really hysterical. And it does capture a lot of that body's essence where it's like, oh, that's funny. Like, I see what you're doing. That's funny. We're talked about Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. It is set at Christmas, but it's not, hey, let's all go see Baby Girl together.
Okay. Are you going to try to draft it in the next Christmas drafts?
100%. Yes, I will.
Okay, love it.
Of course I will. Of course. So I don't know. We haven't gotten a trailer for Baby Girl yet. And I wonder if it's because A24 is a little like, how do we lean into this?
Mm-hmm.
I want to draw comparisons to like Maxine, because Maxine obviously very sexually dominant kind of a idea of who that character is, and they ended up releasing a thong, I believe, to go with the merch line. So Baby Girl could go in the same route, but I don't know how it's going to do the box office, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a little worried.
I mean, yeah, for a company that has had issues in the past with marketable movies, like I'm just so curious to see how they handle this one.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. Let's talk Oscar chances for this movie. I mentioned Nicole Kidman won the Best Actress at Venice.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the conversation right now is that Nicole Kidman is in for the 5 when it comes to Academy Awards. I could also see Harris Dickinson going in for Best Supporting Actor. His tonal vibe in this movie didn't work for me kind of at all. And I think that's where I disassociated with the movie the most, but he's good. I can't like take that away from him. He's good. He has to be the way that he is in order for this movie to work.
Gotcha.
So I wonder if they campaign for that. As of now, I don't think outside of Clarence Macklin for Sing Sing, I don't think A24 really has any supporting roles that they're campaigning.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
It doesn't seem that way. So I wonder if they throw all the eggs in the Clarence Macklin basket, or if they try to go with a known quantity in Harris Dickinson, because then you kind of have both sides of the coin here. I would just be flabbergasted if they don't gun for Nicole Kidman being in the 5 for Best Actress.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's pretty locked in there at the very least in the running.
Yeah, she has to be. Where's your excitement for Baby Girl after I just said that I didn't like it?
I mean, I'm excited about it. I think it's an interesting concept, for sure. Yeah. The cast is good. Like I'm not a huge Nicole Kidman fan, but I know she's like a renowned actress and stuff, so I'm excited to see what she does. And
renowned actress Nicole Kidman. This is true. Yeah, no, it's true. I agree.
Yeah, it's just for some reason her and what's his face, Russell Crowe. I just have something with Australian actors, I guess. Or just
like fuck these guys.
I can't do it. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see it for sure. I'm excited to cover it.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to cover it on the pod for sure. I'll revisit it. And I really hope on my revisit I have a better I don't know, just like a better experience with the film in general.
Yeah. Hopefully it's next to someone who's a little more comfortable with their sexuality or seeing sexual things.
Yeah. And this is the movie where you can like very easily tell who maybe doesn't like to explore that part of the world. And I'm not even talking about like on a personal stance, like whatever you do in your time, but like learning how to intake that kind of material.
Yeah.
It is a social skill for sure. And you could easily tell the guy next to me was not the only person trying to fill the void of like, hey, I see that there's a lot of hand movement and Nicole Kidman's face is kind of sharing her emotions in that. And they tried to fill that void. But yeah, I hope I like it more. Nicole Kidman's been in a lot of weird stuff though. You got to be like looking at this.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy. I did watch a movie with her in it this afternoon. She was far underutilized.
I agree with that.
I'll just say that. Okay. Let's do Heretic. Heretic I'll give a little bit of an insight here. We're going by my rankings. So On Becoming a Guinea Fowl was 7. I didn't see it, so I can't rank it.
Reverse ranking.
Yeah,
okay,
so we're going reverse rankings. So Baby Girl was my number 6 favorite A24 movie out of TIFF. Number 6 out of 7, which like you know better than anybody how excited I was for that. I was like DMing you about it constantly. Like every review that came out of Venice, I was like, oh shit, we're so back. And it just didn't click. So we've got Heretic. This is the next big horror movie from A24. And this one had its world premiere at TIFF. I feel like it premiered quite well. I think it was like mixed to positive reviews. I think the ultimate takeaway is that Heretic is really fun. I think that's the general consensus. We have a trailer for this, so I'm not going to spoil anything that does take place in the third act. There are twists and turns that I won't talk about, but it is very in step with the trailer. It is very, very much aligned.
Okay.
With that. Now, I do want to start off the conversation of the rollout of this film because it's getting a nationwide release on November 15th. Why the fuck are we releasing a horror movie in November? What are we doing? I'm so confused.
A24, man. I don't get it. I don't know. Why would you do this?
I have no clue what's happening.
Sense.
So this is what's interesting to me. A Different Man, the new A24 movie with Sebastian Stan, is getting a nationwide release on October 4th. We Live in Time, limited release the week after on October 11th. Then you essentially go 4 weeks with no releases until you put Heretic at November 15th, and then you've got 2 December releases in Y2K and Baby Girl. I'm genuinely, just absolutely genuinely confused why we're not putting Heretic at the end of October of like, let's go see a new A24 horror movie. Seems like a no-brainer to me.
100%. Or my first instinct is just swap it with We Live in Time. Give We Live in Time the Thanksgiving release. You know what I mean? Like, and let Heretic have the month of October, basically.
That was like literally what I wrote down. Why are we not trading release dates with Heretic? Because if you want
I didn't even see that note. Genuinely, I did not see that note at all. That's crazy.
That note is literally in the We Live in Time bullets.
Yeah,
it's in the doc. I
haven't looked at it yet, but that's great.
I literally said trade release dates with Heretic.
That's perfect. Well, same brain, you know? I like it.
I am confounded at this release decision from A24. Not even to mention like, cool, Heretic's getting a nationwide release. Like everybody's going to get to see it and everybody's going to be like, Hugh Grant, what a cool villain, all at the same time.
Yeah.
But they're going to do it in November when, honestly, from my perspective, people are horrored out because they just spent all October marathoning movies, podcasting about movies, making YouTube videos and TikTok videos about movies and staying up late and watching horror movies with their partners and their families. Yeah. And then A24 is going to be like, hey, but you're not done yet. 2 weeks later, that's really, really strange to me. It has a huge religion element, obviously, that we know about from the trailer. So many moments in this movie are so Mormon coded, and I'm not a Mormon, but I know you grew up Mormon. And I was like, oh shit, Ben's gonna love this movie. Literally, when I saw it, I was so excited for you. Hugh Grant, really good in Heretic, I'll just say. Nice. Delivers a great monologue. Don't think of Hereditary. It's not that serious, but it's a good monologue, I think, to kind of set expectations. Merch possibilities. I think that's something that we should be talking about with every movie here because A24 has trained at least you and I, if not their entire fan base, to expect some sort of merch tie-in, which, you know, I give them credit for. They've done a good job of, and I get suckered more times than not into being like, yeah, I definitely need that ashtray from Love Lies Bleeding. Blueberry pie candle for sure from the trailer.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else though. So I don't know. At least one thing, I guess.
Maybe like little missionary tags. They'll start selling those or something people could have.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
I do like, you may not know this, but for the last 2 movies, we've talked about the first 2 villains in both Paddington movies. So the little tie-in there.
Hold on.
Paddington.
There are villains in Paddington movies?
Yeah, you got to have an antagonist.
Are you serious?
Yeah, first one's Nicole Kidman, second one's Hugh Grant.
The first villain in the first Paddington movie is Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
You just broke my little cinematic
sell
brain.
You on it?
That's all I needed.
There you
How
go.
come nobody has told me this in the fucking years that people are like, Paddington's so good. You got to watch Paddington. All you had to do was be like Nicole Kidman. And then I was in.
Would have been sold. I know.
Wow.
I blew it.
You really fucked up because we have a 2014 draft coming up on the Movie Draft podcast.
True.
And
yeah.
now I'm watching Paddington. I think Hugh Grant is a great villain. Sophie Thatcher, Chloe Easter in this movie, both really, really good. And I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with Heretic. I would expect A24 to treat it more along the lines of like, this is one of our fun horror movies that we have.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a prestigious one. No Oscar chances here. I don't think there's really anything to talk about.
No, that makes sense. Feels like if it was anything, it'd be below the line, but I'm sure they're going to put their efforts other places.
I would assume so, and I would hope so. There's some good needle drops in this movie, though. I'll give that out. Okay, so that's 3 of the 7. We'll keep going on. We'll do Friendship. This is in my 4th spot. I went to a press and industry screening for Friendship. There was only one P&I screening for this movie. Generally, these press and industry screenings take place in the morning. That way, all the press people can like choose what they want, and then public screenings take place later on in the day that you would need a ticket for. So there was a Midnight Madness showing of Friendship, like the first night of TIFF, and that was the world premiere of Friendship. A lot of people went to it that I knew. I couldn't get a ticket for it, so I saw the P&I screening a few days later. Every P&I screening I went to, there was plenty of room. There was like, they were not turning away press people whatsoever. The Friendship P&I screening, they turned away countless people.
Really?
Filled up about 30 to 40 minutes before the actual showtime started.
Wow.
There's hype for this movie, and it is very palpable.
Mm-hmm.
So it is no surprise to me that A24 picked it up. I think it's a great home for it. I think it fits with the A24 vibe for sure. Coming soon. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Because this out of 3 movies out of this list, actually, A24 says coming soon. Do you think Friendship comes out this year? If there's good positive vibes out of TIFF, people are loving it. Tim Robinson's still front of the comedy culture. Do they try to take advantage of that, or do they wait for like a mid-February, come have a lot of fun at the theaters? I don't know. I was
just going to say, is it falling like their dumpuary? Just like, let's just get this out there, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I mean, it's a bummer it sounds like it's not going to be pulling any major awards anyway. So it's not like they need to like rush to get it out for that purpose. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited about this one. This looks like, I believe it's a directorial debut from
Andrew DeYoung.
We did watch that Would It Kill You to Laugh TV special. We watched that and talked about that.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
John,
we did.
So we talked about that. Definitely watched some of the shows that he's directed on. So I'm excited about it. The cast looks fantastic. So yeah, this should be a fun one. It is. Yeah. Curious though when they're going to finally put it out there.
The cast, Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd, Kate Mara, is essentially the 3 that we have. When a new neighbor, Brian, threatens his quiet life, Craig Waterman, who is played by Tim Robinson, struggles to protect his family's security. So it's 97 minutes long. It plays exactly like I Think You Should Leave skit for 97 minutes.
Nice.
In a good way. Like it works. And I was really surprised because generally I will get tired of a skit about 25 minutes into a movie and be like, I see we're just doing the same thing the whole time. And it worked. And I thought it was hilarious. And I genuinely, like, this has turned me on to being like, I should watch everything Tim Robinson is in because he's so funny. I'm going to go back to the rollout for 1 second. Friendship to me seems like a limited then wide release.
Okay.
It seems like, let's play New York, LA. Let's get 2 weeks of word of mouth. Let's drop some merch. Mm-hmm. Let's then play in Chicago, Orlando, Philly, bigger places. Maybe re-up on the merch, get people excited, and then we'll do a big wide release. That way we can basically permeate clips of Friendship for 4 to 6 weeks straight as everybody is finally getting the chance to see it. There's so much content packed into this movie that I think it would be a little puzzling for them not to do something along those lines. My question for the merch is, how invested can Tim Robinson get? Because if A24 can get Tim Robinson invested into like making merch for this movie, it might be their best merch yet. I don't know.
I mean, you've seen it. Like, do you feel like there's merch capabilities here?
Yes.
Without spoiling anything? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Without spoiling anything, I think there's definitely possibilities. I think the merch is going to be much more of like, once you've seen that movie, you'll get it.
Gotcha.
Like it's going to be a random thing or a random moment or whatever. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if they're just like, let's put out a t-shirt with Tim Robinson's face on it. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. That just sounds like a gimme. But there's definitely possibilities there for it. And I do think A24 is the right home for this movie.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it seems like it's a good fit.
Really, really funny flick. No Oscar chances. We kind of mentioned that. It just seems like a 2025 release to me. There's no way they dropped this in 24.
Yeah, I don't know where they would like pigeonhole it in or why they would. Doesn't make any sense.
You know, they should drop it 1 week after their mid-November horror movie. That's what they should do.
That's what they should do, yeah. This will be the Thanksgiving release.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know. It's got big January vibes to me. If you put it in January, you have a very high potential of just absolutely cleaning up the box office, because nobody's going to go see anything else. And people are just kind of like tired already of such a dramatic awards season of like 6-week run of all these massively dramatic films coming out where they're like, let's go see Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. So yeah, I'm glad I went to Friendship. I think a lot of people are really going to like it.
Nice.
Okay, let's talk about We Live in Time. This was pretty high up on my full TIFF rankings list. We Live in Time is basically the newest romantic drama from A24. It follows Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield as a married couple. Florence Pugh is an up-and-coming chef, and Andrew Garfield is a recent divorcee. They have a chance encounter. They end up falling in love. This movie spans multiple decades and is told in a non-linear fashion, hence the We Live in Time title to it.
Gotcha.
So it jumps around to different spots in their life, which at first is a little jarring because we only spend maybe a minute or so at each junction. As the movie finds its footing, we spend more time there. This movie is a very average movie done exceptionally well. So take that for what you will. Does that description make you more or less excited for it?
I mean, honestly, Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh just make me excited for it. So, but I think from what you're saying, if I'm hearing what you're saying, it's like if you had quote unquote lesser actors, this movie wouldn't be as good. But it feels like they probably carry quite a bit of it and make it what it is.
If you had any lesser actors, this movie's shambles. This movie just doesn't work whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a huge hit for A24.
Nice.
I think it did have its world premiere at TIFF. This Heretic and Friendship had their world premieres at TIFF.
Oh, sweet.
This was a huge audience pleaser. This was a huge hit when I went. And it's definitely going to quickly cement itself among A24's saddest movies. I'll just put that out there. So
that's what we need. Get that on the poster. That's what we need right there. Now you guys me sold.
It is ridiculously emotional. It's ridiculous. And again, like there's nothing super duper special about being like, you know, oh, this is like After Sun levels, or this is like Moonlight levels of deep emotion. Like it's fairly standard. You're watching people fall in love at different points throughout their life, and either dealing with a kid or dealing with cancer or dealing with other things that happen in their life. But Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, it is a little remarkable how good at acting they are.
Damn, that's
scary.
Cool. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. I think, yeah, they are what has me excited about this. The trailer got me hooked immediately. I think I text you and just like, oh, so I'm just going to like cry for 2 hours. Like, I think that's what this is going to be. So I am very much, this might be the thing I'm looking forward to the most out of these 7 is this one.
Okay.
And it's interesting because it falls pretty much in the middle of like your rankings. But this, for me, my anticipation level is this might be close to number 1 if it's not number 1.
I think that's totally fair. It really surprised me because I went in and I was like, oh boy, like I'm gonna feel emotionally manipulated, and listeners might know, you definitely know, like emotional manipulation is bullshit to me, and it's like really on par with The Whale, where I'm just like, fuck this, like I know what you're doing. And with any lesser actors, We Live in Time would have been the same thing. I would have been like, I get it, I know you're showing me to make me cry, I understand. And then you look at Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield and you're like, oh my God, I feel for them. Like they're me. It's remarkable. And I think everybody should be really excited for this movie. Limited release on October 11th, nationwide release on October 18th. Smart to go with a limited than nationwide?
I think so. I mean, as somebody who lives in Salt Lake, no, I just want them to go wide and like get it out here. But it's probably smart to give it a week to get that word of mouth out there from the New York and LA people. Yeah,
I think it is smart. Again, I will state, we got to trade release dates with this. This is a wholehearted November movie. There's just no question about it. So I'm stumped on why they're dropping this in October. It just literally doesn't make any sense to me. Oscar chances, again, like fairly average film, portrayed really, really well. So I wonder if A24 is going to put any steam behind Andrew Garfield for Best Actor or Florence Pugh for Best Actress. There's definitely moments in this where you're like, oh, I could see that being the clip.
Yeah.
But again, it seems like A24 has their hands full with other projects for the Academy Awards.
For sure. Yeah. With Sing Sing, all this stuff. Yeah. They're going to have a lot.
Yeah. So people should be excited for We Live in Time. It's a great movie.
Do you think, could this get the Past Lives slot for like 10 best picture?
Wow. It's a good question because this year's Best Picture slate is absolute dog shit so far.
Yeah.
It's bad. I mean, if we want to digress for a quick moment and think about this, The Brutalist, Queer, Sing Sing. Those are 3. I know there's other movies coming out. The problem is movies coming out the rest of the year, very divisive, very polarizing.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2, that'd be 4. Dune Part 2, that's 5. And then I mean, I know I'm probably missing some really big ones, but like,
I think you would renominate Oppenheimer. Just
sure. We could renom.
Let's just do that again.
Bring it back around if we could. A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biopic.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That'll put us a biopic.
That'll put us at 6.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't be surprised if we see Amelia Perez get in there for Netflix, another movie that played at TIFF. That could put us at 7. But like, I genuinely feel that there's a lot of slots open to play. I don't think We Live in Time is going to fill any of them, though.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah.
I just don't think so. Okay. Let's talk about the final 2 movies here. Queer. This was my second favorite A24 movie out of TIFF. This is Luca Guadagnino's next film, starring Daniel Craig and Drew Starkey. It is an adaptation of a William S. Burroughs novel.
Okay.
Directed by Luca, written by Justin Kuritzkitz, who wrote Challengers and is married to Celine Song. I think definitely worth noting.
Yeah.
And Queer is basically about this guy named Lee, played by Daniel Craig, who is living in Mexico City, and basically driven to love / madness as he falls in love with this young man named Allerton, and what that does to him mentally, physically, and their intertwined nature, if you will. It is Luca's most visually appealing movie that he's made yet. It is very big Charlie Kaufman like vibes. It is very Schenectady, New York. It is very in that vein. Along with that, though, the flip side is I don't think it's an easily accessible movie. Like I think you really need to be on board with Queer in order to enjoy it. I walked out of the screening, talked to our buddy Clayton Davis from Variety, talked to a handful of other people that were there at the screening. About half liked it and half absolutely did not. So
interesting.
I'm curious. I'm curious. A24 bought Queer out of Venice. So we knew that this was an A24 movie. This is one they're going to have to throw some resources behind for Academy Awards. In your opinion, based on what you know about Queer, we have no trailer. We have like 2 stills so far. Does this seem like an A24 movie at all?
Kind of surprising to me a little bit. But again, as we've covered their library over the years, sometimes these things are just like, I never would have thought Barely Lethal was an A24 movie either. You know what I mean? True. So it's just like it kind of sometimes can go all over the place. My thought, and it's maybe just because of the question I asked before, but it's like, if Luca gets a movie in the best 10, like, is it this or Challengers?
That's where I was going to go with you. That's the question. Jeez, I don't. It's this. Well, is it this? I don't know. While not as sexually explicit as Baby Girl, it is very sexually provocative.
Gotcha.
As is Challengers.
Yeah,
so. Yeah. I don't know that the Academy wants to go either direction.
Yeah, maybe neither of them get nominated. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. But if one were to get nominated, I think it's Queer, honestly.
Yeah.
So I want to circle back on the Best Picture conversation because obviously we left out Anora, huge, Palme d'Or winner out of Cannes and played at TIFF as well. So yeah, I do think Queer gets in for Best Picture. We're back to the conversation of like, how does A24 market this movie? It's kind of not really for their base, which I think is a little troublesome, as is the next movie we'll talk about, The Brutalist. It seems like a let's buy awards kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
Daniel Craig for Best Actor for sure. Like I would be stunned if that's not the case. Drew Starkey for Best Supporting Actor. He's an unknown name, but I think the Best Supporting Actor race this year, if we can get like 3 unknowns, would be just riveting race material.
Be pretty cool.
Be really cool. Best Costume, Best Production Design, possibly Best Score. Like, we have a Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross score. I know Challengers is the same thing, but Challengers, in my opinion, is like not Academy compliant, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it's so upbeat and heavy and sexual. This is much more like melancholic and meandering and much more, I think, in that vein.
It's not Brat.
It's not Brat. This is true. I would say this would be our non-Brat fall era that we're in with Queer. Really good movie. David Lowery is apparently in this film. I didn't clock him. I don't know if I can't remember who he was, but he's listed in this movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. So merch opportunities for Queer, I don't know. Quick, honestly, I'm gonna go explicit for a second, but like a cum rag, I don't know. I could see A24 doing it. It would fit in with Queer.
They wouldn't call it a towel. They just call it a cum rag. That's quite possible. Yes.
I mean, for those that have seen Queer, you know what I'm referencing. If you haven't, you can only guess what I'm referencing. It's a gay love story, you know? So like, it is what it is.
Love is messy, you know? Love is messy.
That's it. It's done.
There it
Sell
is.
it.
Yeah, put it on a towel. Let's go.
That's literally all you need. That's so A24 coded. Jeez, we are sick. We have a problem. You and I. Okay, the last thing we'll talk about here, The Brutalist. I think the biggest movie coming out of TIFF. Definitely, in terms of conversation, in terms of hype. Did you know anything about The Brutalist before A24 acquired it?
No, and I think I still don't know anything about it, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I don't know a bunch other than Adrian Brody's in it.
That's totally accurate and totally true. I would say a lot of people don't really know anything about it. I will just read the quick excerpt because it's going to do a better job describing the epic movie than I will. When visionary architect Laszlo Toth and his wife Erzsébet flee post-war Europe in 1947 to rebuild their legacy and witness the birth of modern America, their lives are changed forever by a mysterious and wealthy client. The movie is 3 hours and 35 minutes long.
Holy fuck.
Does that scare you?
Yes. Are you kidding me? Oh, this is the one you had an intermission on, right?
Intermission, baby.
Ooh.
Cinema.
Okay.
Fucking cinema.
Are they going to do it in regular theaters?
They have to. They have to. I'm not going to spoil anything about The Brutalist.
Yeah.
But you have to have the intermission.
Okay.
The way the film is formatted and structured, and the way that Brady Corbett, who did win Best Director out of Venice, is being eyed as winning Best Director for the 2025 Academy Awards already, bakes it in so that it is this sounds so dumb, but it is literally the perfect palate cleanser between a part 1 and a part 2 of an American epic film.
Oh, I like that.
It's perfect. The problem is, this movie wins Silver Lion at Venice. Brady Corbett wins Best Director. Plays to great reception out of Venice, of course. Great reception out of TIFF. This is going to be showing at New York Film Festival. I believe all of these screenings for The Brutalist instantly off sale this morning for New York Film Festival. Tickets just snapped up. It is hot right now. Everybody wants to see The Brutalist. There's so much momentum for this film. But the question is A24 going to release it this year? Do they have to with the momentum?
I mean, you don't want to sit on it for a whole year, right? You don't, and like, it doesn't sound like it's a summertime movie. Like, when would they release it next year? It would just be kind of crazy. And maybe that's why there are some gaps in November or something like that, because they just thought maybe they would acquire something that could be in the Oscar race, but I don't know.
They acquired this movie for $10 million out of Venice. Apparently, it cost less than $10 million to make. Really interesting financial juxtaposition they find themselves in here, where the movie itself is basically a movie nerd's like dream. You mentioned like it's a 3 hour and 35 minute flick akin to like The Godfather. It is American epic storytelling on a massive, grandiose scale. It's got a 15-minute intermission baked into it. They shot it on 35 millimeter. They shot it on VistaVision. They screened it at TIFF on a 70 millimeter screening. It is everything you want in like a film.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all of that being said, a late November release sounds right to me.
Yeah,
it sounds good. Like we're not stepping on the toes of Christmas release in Baby Girl. We're having enough time for that. We're letting Heretic do its thing on November 15th, whatever the hell that is. And then we're dropping The Brutalist like the last week of November. That it just seems right to me. They would be psychotic to sit on this movie.
I mean, I don't know what similarities this have, if any, but Zone of Interest, December 15th last year. And
interesting.
I think that is
that slot's open. It's open for A24.
Right. I think it's a good slot for a Oscar contender.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? Zone of Interest has very similar vibes to this kind of movie.
Okay.
Where it's like it's an experience. You have to go. You have to be there in the cinema. You have to see it to believe it, kind of a thing. They did a remarkable job campaigning for the Zone of Interest. I wonder if they go in the same direction for The Brutalist and try to get into Best Picture as well as Best International Feature. Wonder if they think they can lock up Best International
yeah.
Feature. A lot of this movie is spoken in non-English. So yeah, that December, mid-December slot is looking real juicy for The Brutalist.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that they would have to go with a limited release, just the same they did with The Zone of Interest. Like, you've got to go really, really, really limited.
Yeah.
You have to keep building this word of mouth that, like, you have to see this movie on 70 millimeter. You have to see it on film. You must see it in a movie theater, because I can only imagine there's only so many prints of this movie, and in order for them to produce more prints, like that's going to get really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what their game plan is for that. Like, do they ship prints out to every major city to show it on 70, like the way that it's designed to be seen?
Yeah.
I would hope so. So I think, like, it just makes me really nervous from an A24 perspective. I know that The Zone of Interest is a really good comp, but, like, they're not known for being very successful at very good rollouts for big movies.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's totally fair, but hopefully I don't remember what, if any, international festival kind of stuff Zone of Interest got, but the reception this movie is getting, I hope the people at A24 are, like, paying attention to it. It's like, oh, we can't fuck this up. We need to make sure this gets out there.
Yeah. And, it's curious because I wonder if they were waiting for the press and industry screening at TIFF, which is what I went to. Of course, like I said, screened in like 70 millimeter with the intermission and everything. And then the next day, the news came out that they purchased it. I don't want to assume that, like, that was the case, but I wonder if they were, like, trying to sit just for a few more critic takes on, like, okay, it's true what we have here, and looking for, like, another pool across the pond. Because Venice, you got to throw something else in the mix. Like, you can't just wholeheartedly trust Venice. But they did with Queer, so what the fuck do I know? Yeah, The Brutalist is sick. I'm super stoked for you to watch The Brutalist and be like, well, there's 3.5 hours I'm never getting back of my life.
That's going to be good. I can't wait. Listen, I had a good time with Vox Lux. So Brady Corbett, so far, he's 1 for 1 with me. And I love Funny Games, which he acted in. So he's 2 for 2.
Wow. Okay. Hopefully we go 3 for 3.
We'll see.
I've never seen Vox Lux. I wanted to see it before I went, but I didn't get the chance to do so. Highly recommend seeking out The Brutalist. If you're going to New York Film Festival, if you're going to any other festival that it's screening at, I highly recommend seeking out and seeing The Brutalist, and just being prepared for, like, a movies are so back kind of experience. I would bet that they do that mid-December New York, LA limited release, so they qualify for Oscars. That would be my guess. And then they slowly feed it out to the masses over the next 8 to 10 weeks after that. But that was my favorite A24 movie out of TIFF. So yeah, I had a really good time. Finishing the conversation on The Brutalist, Oscars. I mean, Guy Pearce, Best Supporting. Adrian Brody, best lead actor. I would say Felicity Jones for sure, Best Actress.
Dang.
Best costumes for sure. I mean, it's a period piece. The Academy loves their period piece. Best score. It is an astounding score. It is swelling, and it is. I don't want to say life-changing, but it's really good. So I feel like they could put a lot behind this. But again, like, A24's only got so many resources, man.
It's
what
true.
do you do?
Yeah. You don't want to, like, have everything competing against itself, as good as it would be. It's just like,
right.
Yeah. Do you lock in on Sing Sing, or do you kind of spread yourself thin between movies? Who knows?
And that's the thing, man. Sing Sing at this point kind of falling out of conversation.
Yeah.
It's they've waited too long. So do you want to wrap this TIFF conversation by 2025 Best Oscar predictions so far?
Sure.
Since we're kind of in that vein. These are predictions from Variety. These are not my own predictions. I'll come back with my own predictions and see if I align with this or not based on what I've seen. Like I mentioned, Amelia Perez, Gladiator 2, A Complete Unknown, the biopic, the Bob Dylan biopic, We've got Anora that's screened again to quite great praise out of TIFF. I liked it. I didn't love Anora though, which I thought was a little bummer. Speaking of former A24 fam, that's Sean Baker right there. So
Yes,
I think that's rather funny that he, Neon picked up Anora. Blitz, the new Stephen McQueen movie that has not screened anywhere yet, and is, I believe, officially screening at New York Film Festival. I believe that's like the headliner for that fest. The Room Next Door, this movie is getting really mixed to negative reception in general, but it sounds like it's being portrayed very heavily from Sony Pictures Classics as like their best picture kind of contender. This is a movie that I have heard not great things about. We'll just say that. Conclave, basically Succession meets Choosing the Pope.
Oh yeah.
Dune Part 2, like I mentioned, that would be 8. Variety has here Saturday Night, the Jason Reitman picture of the night that Saturday Night Live happened, and then Netflix is The Piano Lesson, which I think is totally fair. Sing Sing they have on the out right now, and then you just have a lot of other really big coin flips, like September 5, a movie that has no U.S. distribution. The Life of Chuck actually did win the TIFF Audience Award.
Yeah.
For the past 13 years, I think it is, the TIFF Audience Award winner has gone on to be nominated for Best Picture. That's not going to happen this year. Life of Chuck is just not going to cut it. So I find it fascinating. So yeah, interesting 10. Do you have a specific 10? Because I don't agree with this list from Variety that I just read.
Oh no, there's no way. We would be here all night for me trying to figure out my 10. For me, it's way too early. Do it now.
Do it live. Do it on the pod.
I did not go to a festival. I did not do any of that. So this is way too early. I just, fingers crossed Challengers gets in there because I had a really good time with that. But genuinely, I don't know what you would take out. So, and, Clayton has predicted that Amelia Perez is the winner. And it's like, cool. I don't know anything about it. So I'm excited to learn about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think my 10 is Queer, The Brutalist. I'm gonna put Nosferatu in there. I think that would be be a fun Best Picture pick.
Has that director done anything before?
First time actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Brand new to film, brand new to movies, has never ventured behind the camera.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're gonna give him a fair shot at his first film.
Yeah, gotta give him. Yeah, why not?
So that would be 3. My 4th would be Sing Sing. I do think Sing Sing gets in. Dune Part 2 for sure. Conclave, Blitz, Anora, A Complete Unknown, and then probably Amelia Perez. So that would be my 10 as of now, off the cuff.
Lock it in.
A few different ones, but yeah, I think A24 is going to lock up like 3 or 4 Best Picture nominations. It's going to be a weird year for A24.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool though. But I mean, last year we had Zone of Interest in Past Lives, right? Was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah, they're not, they've been known to have multiple nominations before. So it'd be cool.
Yeah, they've got what it takes. Anyway, TIFF, fun time. A24 making out like bandits out of TIFF. I got to be honest. Pretty good stuff.
Love it. Also, TIFF, if you're listening, you're a great boss.
Circle back. Yeah, we gotta make sure we put recognition out there. Okay. Next week on the pod, we're mixing it up a little bit as we do here on the show. We're doing. It's called Oasis Supersonic. Is that right? Did I get the title right?
That is correct.
Okay. I know nothing about Oasis. I just know that they came back and they're touring and people are losing their fucking minds.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
I don't know why.
I mean, it's such a wild story. I'm excited for you to watch it and learn about them. It's like they made this like perfect album and then just like self-combusted. I don't want to say much. I'm going to let you experience it, but I will say that there are like bets out there in the world as to whether or not they even make it to the shows next year or if they're going to combust before then. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited for you to watch it. I have seen this and I had a good time with it.
Okay, I'm really excited. Obviously, this played in IMAX a while back for A24.
Better than Jerry Lee Lewis. How about that? How's that?
That's literally all I need.
When
to
it
know.
comes to music docs, it's better than Jerry Lee Lewis.
I'm so locked in already. Holy shit, amazing. Yeah, I'm excited. We just figured, they're getting back together. Good time to cover it here on the show before we try to get in all these new releases. And I hope one of them's The Brutalist, man. I hope we talk about The Brutalist in December when they release it, and then we talk about it again when it's nominated for Best Picture. That's what I hope.
I love it. 7 hours of one movie. That's perfect. Yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on TIFF. Have you ever been? Would you like to go? Let us know. We're on Twitter and Instagram at 24 minutes of 824. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch us talk about this stuff and see our backgrounds, our setups, and what we record in. So thanks everyone for your support. We really appreciate it. I am Ben Lawhorn.
And I am Ethan Simi. Spring break forever, bitches.